We're going to take the North and never give it back.
So that's a good pick. You get the corner. I got to go bold, right? I got to go bold for this.
Yeah, she's got some nice.
Welcome back to the Unbearable Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Brad. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're out there on YouTube, and also rate the show 5 stars everywhere that you get your podcast. Bears fans, we are here to cover another Chicago Bears playoff game against the LA Rams. And as we always are, we are brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. So let's talk a little bit about the game today, because this team is going to be one of the best teams that we've played, probably the best team that's out there. And we'll talk about some of their weaknesses. They don't have many weaknesses, but we'll break down a couple of the weaknesses that I think that they can potentially exploit and hopefully they can take advantage of. We'll talk about the injury report. We'll talk about everything that's out there. But we'll also talk about a little bit of weather. I got the weather out there too. But currently, our Chicago Bears are 3.5-point underdogs at home against the Rams, according to our friends at FanDuel. And right now, minus 104. I did see some numbers out there at plus 4.5, which I was like, okay, that's pretty good. But then also the number has gone all the way from 51.5 all the way down to 48.5. So a lot of money coming in on the under. Right now it sits at 48.5. But man, we'll see. It's going to be a cold one, but I still feel like even though it'll be cold, the Bears still can put up a lot of points. And I've also heard too, another reason why the under's been getting bet is because some of the refs out there are ones that are big fans of holding penalties. So that will be fun when we talk about the lack of Ozzy Trapillo being out there, Theo Benedette being out there against this defensive line. But let's continue and let's get a little bit into this injury report first, and then we'll start breaking down the different positions and different areas. We got J2K out there. Good evening to you too, my friend, and Taco Man Bear down. And I agree. I agree with what Taco Man has to say with the just being happy about beating the Packers twice this year. I totally agree. I think like the biggest thing is if the Bears lose, obviously I'll be sad. And if we end up losing, I'll tell you right after the game to be happy because we beat the Packers, right? Obviously we want us to go as far as we can, but that's the biggest thing with any season. Just enjoy the wins. Enjoy the season. We're good. We're good right now. So it's enjoying the rides. But yeah, I think if we lose, just look to that and be excited and be happy with what we were able to do against the Packers. So now let's go over and also be happy with what Caleb Williams has been doing. Like that's the real reason people should be happy. Caleb's been looking amazing. So let's get into our injury impact, as we call it. So our injury impact, it's not a lot of people out there on the injury report, but a big reason is because both TJ Edwards and Ozzy Trapillo are both out for the season. Now, the thing that I do want to bring up as well, this goes into just the longevity idea with the Bears, but Ozzy Trapillo, with his injury, it looks like typically people don't return from that injury. Usually it's a 6 to 12 month type of injury to come back from. I've seen people say too, sometimes it can be a death nail. It's a small percentage, but it is something to a little bit like worry about. So what I would do if I was the Bears, look for a veteran, see if a veteran can come in, play left tackle while Ozzy's trying to come back, because I just keep Theo as the swing tackle. You're obviously not going to re-sign Braxton Jones or anything like that, but it is it's not like alarm bells, but it changes the plan when before it was, okay, we feel comfortable with Ozzy. Ozzy should be able to be that starting left tackle. Don't have to do anything too crazy there, to now, okay, you might have to do something this offseason just to make sure that you're good. So that's my feeling. But let's continue and let's talk a little bit about this injury report. Main one that did not participate today, these are all estimates for their walkthrough, is really just Nick McLeod. Then DJ Moore limited, Rome Odunze limited, Jalen Reeves-Maybin limited, but then full participants, CJ Gardner-Johnson, Braxton Jones, Amen Agbangbamiga, and Joe Tryon-Shoyinka. So the key ones that I want to talk about, obviously wide receivers coming back, that's big, but also too CJ Gardner-Johnson coming back. We haven't seen CJ and Kyler Gordon out there on the field at the same time. And the Rams are a team that likes to run a lot of 2 tight end sets, even 3 tight end sets when they're out there. And that's why I am curious to see what the Bears end up doing. Are they going to play more CJ? Are they going to play more Kyler? But what I'll tell you is when watching the game back, there is a difference when Kyler's out there. When Kyler's in run defense, first off, he's still a good run defender, even though that the Packers were trying to pick on him in coverage, and they did. In run coverage, he brings a different element, and he is still coming back from an injury. I like him out there because it wasn't like CJ Gardner-Johnson was locking down players or anything like that. Give me Kyler Gordon and throw CJ out there, and a couple times or so. But I do like the idea of just Kyler being that player. Then the next 2, Braxton Arazi out there. I am someone that if this was Madden, I'd put Braxton out there, but this isn't Madden. Quite frankly, I think that you put Theo out there. I expect Theo to be out there because Braxton did get benched. He got benched for Theo, and I think that can be forgotten sometimes. And then Braxton got injured, and then he was out for basically the season. Theo is going to be out there. And I expect people to just chip and help him as much as possible. Braxton should be activated, and then Braxton would just be that backup swing tackle in case anything ends up happening. So that's my feeling with what is going to happen and getting Joe Tryon-Shoyinka back there. Hopefully he's able to play a little bit because I do like the way that he at least plays. And Joe, what's good? Bear down to you too, my friend. Let's flip over to the Rams, where the Rams injury report, pretty light. Darius Williams is the only one that did not participate due to a personal reason, so I could expect him back there. Kevin Dotson, their right guard, should be back with limited participant today. Same thing with their nose tackle, Poona Ford, limited participant. Now, the injury to watch out for is actually Matthew Stafford's right finger. Now, he was a full participant today. The big reason why it is an issue is because of the weather. Now, we need to talk about the weather. This is something that we've been talking about every single week. And this is also why I love that the Bears play outside. According to multiple sources and according to AI, as people can see, AI gave the best overview. So shout out Microsoft Copilot, not a sponsor. The weather forecast for the Rams game at Soldier Field indicates extremely cold conditions. The high temperature is expected to be around 11 to 20 degrees Fahrenheit, with wind chills promptly dropping to negative 10 degrees. Wind gusts are expected to be 20 to 30 miles per hour, and supposedly there is a 59% chance of snow showers in the evening, adding to the challenging playing conditions. So, this is something that is very interesting. Like, they always talk about the weather is the thing that you bring up when there's nothing else to talk about. In this case, the weather is the thing to talk about. And the biggest reason why is because the way that this Rams offense has been. And actually, normally we go into the Bears offense first. I'm going to call an audible, and we're actually going to switch over. We're going to go past this. We're going to go past the Bears offensive preview. We're going to go past that. We are going into the Bears defensive preview. And the reason why I want to go into the defensive preview is because the cold weather can hopefully affect Matt Stafford. And as Copilot said, that Matt Stafford has typically struggled, a significant challenge in the cold weather for Matt Stafford. With that right finger injury, and also just historically, he has struggled in the cold weather. So a couple stats have kind of like flown around. McVay is 2-2 in the cold. Stafford, I saw somewhere where it was 1-9 in weather below 40 degrees. Basically, I don't know if those stats are specifically right. I just heard them on different shows and other things like that. But what I can tell you is Matt Stafford has historically struggled in the cold. Sean McVay's teams have historically struggled in the cold. So because of this is something that's very important. Warm weather teams, LA, where it's probably 70 degrees and sunny, right now, and I'm recording this at 7:42. Because of that, there is something to them coming out to Chicago, coming out to Soldier Field, which the fans were rocking the stadium anyways. So you have the fan factor, and then you also have the cold. That is the big thing if we want to stand a chance against this offense. Let me flip over to their offense, because this offense is something that is, they're unbelievable. They really are. Puka Nacua is the number 1 graded wide receiver. Davante Adams is number 10. Puka Nacua is also by far the number 1 graded wide receiver. He's looked unbelievable, played unbelievable. And when you look at their offense, number 1 in EPA per play, number 2 in EPA per pass, and number 5 EPA per rush. The next best offense, to try to put it into perspective, the best offense that we played before was basically the Packers. Packers were number 4 in EPA per play, number 3 in EPA per pass, but number 20 EPA per run. The thing about the Rams, the reason why so many people have them as their Super Bowl favorite, is because this is one of the most complete teams out there. Kyren Williams has been running the ball phenomenally, but it's not just him. Then you have Blake Corum behind him. And I always love to try and find a weakness in this team. And I found one. I did find a weakness with this offense besides the cold, right? The cold can be a weakness. But really, when you're looking across it, they're top 10 in EPA in everything. and there's no specific running direction. They run better. They actually run majority of their runs up the middle, even though they're number 1 in EPA on runs to the outside. They block phenomenally on outside runs. That's typically what the McVay system is kind of known for. But they actually haven't been doing that this year. And so shockingly enough, they haven't. So the only thing that they're outside of top 10 is middle of the field EPA at 12. I'm not saying that's the weakness at all, but I just thought it was funny. There was one thing they were outside of top 10 in EPA per play. But the potential weakness is this. Last week against the Panthers, right? Panthers, not a great team. But you see them go out there and they are, let me just pull up the stat real quick. They were 2 and 13 on third down. And what was one of the big things that the defense of the Panthers were doing on third down and just typically just causing ruckus? They were playing a lot of quarters coverage. So putting 4 defensive backs back, and when they're playing this quarters coverage, they're trying to stop these deep passes from happening. And when I'm looking at advanced metrics on Stafford, so PFF numbers too on Stafford is unbelievable on deep passes, unbelievable intermediate, right? They're great everywhere that they throw. He hasn't been great on shorter and behind the line of scrimmage, and because they want to try to attack deep. So that's where the Panthers decided to play more quarters coverage, and it did kind of razzle, throw off Matt Stafford a little bit. So something, if Dennis Allen, friend of the show, listening right now, quarters coverage seems to be the thing that was rattling Stafford the most out there. So hopefully they can start playing some of that and start rattling Stafford, because Stafford against the blitz, he's pretty darn good. But also, too, this isn't saying this is a weakness, but when Stafford is under pressure, he has the 10th highest PFF grade. Normally, he's number 1 or top 5 this year. He's PFF's number 1 highest graded quarterback for a reason. There's a reason why he's going to be the MVP, most likely. But Stafford also, when he's under pressure, has the 14th highest turnover-worthy percentage among quarterbacks, which yet again isn't alarming or anything like that. Jordan Love, when he's under pressure, it's alarmingly bad. This is just hey, he's just kind of an okay quarterback when he's under pressure, when throwing turnover-worthy plays, right? But like what Drax said, and by the way, bear down, Drax, we got Cole out there. Bear down, my friends. But yeah, not in the cold. That will be the big factor in this, is going to be how can they perform in the cold. What I can also tell you about this offense as well, this offensive line is good. And this is one of those lines where when I look at this, I go, well, PFF has a bias towards, I feel, 49ers offensive lines and Rams offensive lines. But this is a little bit more justified because I went over to the ESPN numbers, because the PFF numbers, for those listening to the podcast, Alaric Jackson, their left tackle, 8th highest graded tackle. Steve Avila, their left guard, 10th highest graded guard. Coleman Shelton, yes, that Coleman Shelton, 13th highest graded center. Dotson, 3rd highest graded guard. McClendon, 12th highest graded tackle. But then I go over to the ESPN numbers and it backs it up. They have Alaric Jackson and McClendon as top 20 pass and run blockers in the NFL, and then also just so they love the blocking, but also too. Let me just pull up this little grade. I know that I have this somewhere in my notes, but they were also where is it? Number 5 in pass block win rate, and also number 2 in ESPN's run block win rate. So both ESPN and PFF absolutely love their blocking. So really, it's going to boil down to a couple things. Now, for those that are watching, it does kind of pain you a little bit when you look at how green and blue the colors are for the Rams, where they're just good players. And then you go over to our defense, and the only green players that we have are Kevin Byard, DeMarco Jackson, and Montez Sweat, and a little bit with Tremaine Edmonds, right? Like, this defense has to play great. And I will say this too. Grady Jarrett is coming along quite nicely. Grady Jarrett has been playing a lot better as of recent. He's been really stepping up his game. And I want to just give him a little bit of kudos because, he has been playing better as of late. Still not up to that $17 million a year deal, but still he's playing better. So really what they have to look at for this defense is you're going to have to scheme things up, and you're going to have to try and turn the ball over. Matt Stafford, as we know historically, has been someone that can turn the ball over a decent amount of times. So with this, take advantage of the opportunities, play your brand of football. This is what's going to be tough. You need, if he gives you one of those turnover-worthy plays, go after it, right? Play some of those quarters coverages. And also, too, if you're going to blitz, I don't like the idea of like the standard blitzes. When you are the Bears, the things that work are those slot corner blitzes where they're not expecting it, right? Why not play a little bit of dime? You put CJ and Kyler up at the line, blitz one, you blitz both, right? You kind of flip that up too. So that's something where this defense, you got to step up, right? This is going to be another one where Jalen looked a little bit better from coming back from last week. So then hopefully we can see a little bit more out of Kyler. But the only other thing too that I'll kind of talk about with this this matchup, right? Because we know Puka, we know Devontae Adams. I'm not going to stress that, right? We already know they're good. So not going to obsess over that too much. You're going to have to, like Puka, probably have to run some double coverage if you can. Or just try to throw him off his game, something, right? You're not going to stop him for under 100 yards type of deal. Maybe they do, but it's very, very, very unlikely. You're going to also have to try and stop these 3 tight ends that they're going to be playing out there. So they might even have to put in Amen Ogbongbemiga. Personally, for me, I wouldn't run a lot of base. I would treat Kyler Gordon as an extra linebacker, or even like CJ Gardner-Johnson as an extra linebacker, just because I like, just put the best players out there. And Amen Ogbongbemiga, not a great player. I'd rather just try to put your top players out there at all times. Even if they're running some extra tight end sets, if they start moving you off the line and you really need to change things up, then yeah. But Kyler to me is better in run defense than what Amen Ogbongbemiga would give you. So why not keep him out there? Even if he's kind of struggling in coverage, make him your Sam linebacker, because he's probably better anyways at that rather than anyone else that you'll put out there. So to me, keep Kyler out there. I would actually put CJ as the guy that just kind of gets subbed in every now and again because Kyler, this defense played differently. So let's see what y'all are saying out there in the comments below. So Cole saying Dennis Allen needs to abandon that man coverage 100%. I think that's the thing, is he wants to run man coverage, but we just don't have the horses. Jalen's banged up. Wright, like he's susceptible to just some of those double moves, and that's where I like him in the or he's susceptible to just any sort of quick movement. So that's why even too, if you're playing like quarters coverage, typically your corners go back, your safeties go back, right? And it's not like you play it every single snap, but I like that more for Nahshon Wright, just because we know when he just has to run that straight, cover that deep ball, he's very dangerous on passes like that. So then too, what we have is Taco Man saying we always beat up Matt. Yeah, when he was a Lion there. Yeah. So hopeful, exactly. Like I still remember Matt Stafford. I remember Matt Stafford as a Lion. That's my biggest thing. And J2K saying Grady versus Shelton. Yeah, that'll be fun to see. That'll be fun to see. Watch none of them win. It'll be just disappointing. Let's see what else is out there. Yeah, and I do agree with Cole. Yeah, Stafford being number one quarterback makes me think how weak quarterbacks have been this year. I do agree. I think that this year, when you talk about like MVP, there really hasn't been like that guy that just shines. Because even I know, like going up to it, like MVP was an award that was really expected to go to like Drake May. Let me actually pull up the MVP numbers right now. I know I just got like brand new numbers. Let me pull those up, because I think that was like what was kind of crazy. So let me see. I got new numbers. First off, NFC Championship winner odds on FanDuel. We have the Seahawks at plus 120, Rams at plus 165, our beloved Bears at plus 550. So not a lot of love for our Bears out there with that. But let me see if I got MVP. But yeah, Super Bowl winner, Bears have the second worst odds at plus 1,200. So plus 1,200. So not a lot of love for our beloved, blue and orange. So, but yeah, let's see what else we got. And then, yeah, true. Can Chicago even play quarters? That's the biggest thing is, like, I see some comments out there too about just how much we spend on this defense too. Like what Cole's saying, fourth highest paid defense in the league. That's the thing that like does really stink is it's like, well, we need to invest more in defense. We just haven't bought the right guys, which unfortunately, I don't think it was a shock to anybody. Like everything that we've talked about on this show about where they've invested money has kind of been correct, right? There's really been no one that's kind of shocked us when they bought, when they got Grady Jarrett. I said on my show, not a fan of the move. Like, not a fan of the move. Dio, not a fan of the move, right? So like we're spending all this money, and I think the tough part is it's obvious moves. It's not like, hey, we went all in and we got Max Crosby and Max Crosby didn't pan out, right? It's like we got Dio Adengbo and that didn't pan out. It's like, yeah, we could have told you that. So let's go into so let me just talk a little bit about the matchup that I'm that I'm going to be watching the most out there. And I don't know. The thing that's tough is they just have so many weapons. Parkinson has been a very good tight end this year, and Tyler Higbee's still on the team. Even though he's older, he's still a good tight end. And then they still have Terrence Ferguson, who was from Oregon, and the dude can play. And that was one of the players that I really like coming out of college. Very athletic, and they run these three tight end sets phenomenally. Puka, Adams, they make smart decisions. And Johnny PayPal, my former co-host, we always joke that the Rams must listen to the show because my favorite players in the draft, it's always the people that it always feels like it's the people that they end up drafting. That's why, like, and it's not even just like the things that I like. It's like most people on like YouTube and stuff. It's like, oh, this player's good, right? And then he's like, I'm just going to draft Cam Kitchens in like the third round. It's like, what? So they draft well, they sign well, they just do great things like that. So, and also Drax, I love the comment out there, dude. As soon as I was saying it, I was like, oh crap, I haven't said Oregon in in forever. I'm like, oh crap. Is it Oregon? Oregon? Yeah, J2K is saying it's like saying Illinois. Yeah, yeah. I need to learn one of these days. But yeah, one of these days when we get back into draft coverage, that's when I'll learn it. Then because that's when I start saying the colleges more and more. So, but matchup that I'm going to be watching out for. You know what? Oh gosh, I want to say, you know what? I'm going to say Devontae Adams versus Nahshon Wright. I'm going to say that's the matchup I'm watching out for. And the biggest reason is because Devontae Adams, he wins at the catch point. Nahshon Wright, that's also what he does too. So to me, what I'm thinking about is, like, can he just do one play? That's all I'm asking for. I'm just asking for one play. Can he make one interception? It's going to be a contested catch situation. You're going against one of the best. You can lose 7 times. If you get one interception, that puts us in a good spot, right? So that's going to be my matchup to watch out for. That's how it, and then too, just with the defense, do something. But let's see what y'all are saying out there. I see Imperil saying Bears win by 12. Love that. And then we also got Broski, bear down, my friend. Hope you're doing well. But let's flip over to this offensive side of the football. So like we were saying, we're going to flip it to the other sides. And actually, the X factor on defense, the weather, is going to be what we're going to be giving it. So now let's go back to the way we normally kind of run the show. Let's talk a little bit about this Bears offense versus this defense. And this defense comes in, and when you look at just the straight up numbers, they are ferocious. This defense, number 10 in EPA, number 10 against the pass, number 14 against the run. And in advanced metrics too, this was literally the number 1 defense in weeks 1 through 12. Number 1. This defense was unbelievable. This defense was crazy good. But then what happened? One of the biggest reasons, Lake, their safety, ends up going down, and then all of a sudden, this defense just kind of falls apart. Since in weeks 13 to 17, we saw this defense 26 in EPA per play, 28th in explosive play rate allowed, and 32nd in negative play rate forced. Those are terrible numbers. So when you talk about why did the Rams all of a sudden fall off, this was the team, literally number 1 offense, number 1 defense. You can't beat them. This is a team that you're hoping you can stomp on. This is the team that almost lost to the Panthers, 34-31. The Panthers team that's not that great, but hey, their defense is better than ours. They have better defensive backs. They can do a little bit more out there than we can. But they almost lost to the Panthers. And when you look at this defense, they have the horses. They have Jared Verse. They have Kobe Turner, another person that Kobe Turner and Jared Verse were 2 people that I've really liked out of the draft. Verse always my number 1 edge with that. And then also Byron Young, another person loved coming out of the draft as just a designated pass rusher. Dude's been crazy. Josiah Stewart, I actually didn't necessarily love, but the rookie out of Michigan's been good. Yet again, they draft players that have a chance to do something. And then Poona Ford, the dude has just been good every single year. He's just a run-stuffing nose tackle that they can put out there. Braden Fisk, more of a just exclusive pass rusher. When you're looking at his numbers, Poona Ford has been Byron Young and Jared Verse and Tyler Davis are all top 5 in run stuff rate. Poona Ford is also one of the best run defenders in the league. And like I said too, yeah, Tyler Davis from Clemson is also looking good against the run. This is a very stout defense. They can turn it all on. And one of the things that I want to talk about, because one of the questions that was up top was, why do the Bears struggle early? Well, one of the things that I think factors into this is, first off, it just might be just, it's hard to even say, but I think one thing that might even factor into this is I think people are starting to realize how to stop this Bears running attack. So there was a stat that I ended up finding that when the Bears go against 4-man fronts, right? So typical 4-man fronts, you put 4 defensive linemen out there and you go against that, that's when the Bears are elite. That's when they are like, top 3, number 1 running attack out there. When they go against 4-man fronts, they're elite. But what people are realizing is because the way that they want to try and, because their running scheme and the way that they want to try to get their blockers to the next level, what a lot of people are doing is they're running at least 5-man fronts up front. So they just try to line up the front as much as they can, try to get out wide that way, and it's been working. When people do that, Bears are 24th in rushing PFF grade and 15th in yards per carry. So pretty crazy drop-offs where now it becomes mid, below average type of running attacks when they have 5 horses up front. And this is a defensive line that can do that. When you talk about good defensive line, this is where you can't have enough players. Like we were saying, Braden Fisk, who's very good in pass rush. I believe he's in the top. Braden Fisk and Kobe Turner are both top 20 in pass rush win rate according to ESPN analytics. And just they got the guys up front. They can really attack that. So when you're talking about that, that's how they can. They put 5 up front. And if you see that, this is where you get into Caleb Williams. This is where I know my title for this podcast is Big Game Out of Caleb or something big with Caleb. This has to be a Caleb game. This secondary is weak, like we said. One of 28th in explosive play rate allowed, 32nd in negative play rate forced, right? This is how you can attack them. And also 28th in that span against play action. This is a team that the way the Bears want to attack, the Bears play a lot of play action. And when we're throwing the football, we're not throwing dinks and dunks. We're throwing intermediate. We're throwing deep. This has to be a Caleb Williams game, period. And quite frankly, Caleb's been playing great. Caleb's been playing better. And if you want to talk about who needs to step up, these wide receivers, a.k.a. Rome Odunze, DJ Moore, and, Luther's been good, right? There was just that one bad play that he had. Luther, just know the plays as you go in there. That's it. You're a beast. Keep going. But Rome and DJ have to be better. Because I guarantee you, they looked at this tape and went, yeah, what if we just stop Colston Loveland? And what are they going to do, right? Force them to, if I'm the Rams defensive coordinator, I'm going, let's just double Colston and force them to beat us with DJ. Force them to beat you with Rome Odunze in one-on-one coverage. Because Rome can beat that coverage. He really can. It's just the chemistry between them. The ball has been off. And if I'm the Rams, that's how I'm trying to attack it there. So that's my feeling. That's what I'm kind of thinking. That the Bears just have to keep running your offense, keep running it, or keep trying to pass it deep, to try to attack those deep shots to force them to not play with 5 defensive linemen up front. That's some of my take. Also, too, Rams, number 8 in pass rush win rate and number 1 in run stop win rate, according to ESPN analytics. But like we were saying, that 5D line wide, that's going to be the big stat to watch out for out there. Also, Oracle, my friend, let's go. Bear down, my friend. Hope you are doing well. We got Dr. JoJo. Bear down to you too, my friend, saying wore his Matt Forte jersey and got cheese grater hat. There we go. I need one of those. The cheese grater hats. Those things are awesome. And I think too, last week, so living in Wisconsin, deep dish pizza. I know that it's I know some people say it's not an actual Illinois person thing. Well, I'm not an Illinois person. I live in Wisconsin. So I got some Lou Malnati's. So I, drove down, or my wife, my lovely wife and my sister-in-law, they drove down, got some Lou Malnati's and brought it back for me and my brother to watch the game. So so might have to do that again, just because you get that Chicago, the Chicago version. Oh man, with the sausage. Jeez, good night. That's delicious. So anywho, let's get into this. So like we were saying too, Lake came back, their safety. Now this is going to be another matchup to watch out for. Quentin Lake has been a pretty good safety with his career for the Rams, but he's been banged up since coming back. They targeted him heavy last game. If he's still out there, And if he's the one that they're going to put on Colston, I personally think that they might put like Cam Curl on him. If that's the case, if Lake's on him, then I would attack that. This secondary you can attack with Lake not being 100% coming back off of injury, and then Emmanuel Forbes as their wide receivers, Wallace in the slot, Durant outside. You can attack them because this defensive line is just too darn good. Then two, the linebackers, we got the Landman and also Spates. These are pretty decent linebackers. Like you can kind of exploit them in coverage every now and again, especially Omar Spates. But they're nothing to scoff at, I'd say. But really, you got Colston Loveland. You can do that. When you got Colston Loveland, he can break that coverage out wide open the way he's been playing. So that's the feel. But let's see what y'all are saying out there. Drax saying grind the Rams down with the run. The advocation for the run with a lot of that. And then J2K saying Rams linebackers have some terrible coverage grades. He's thinking Swift and Loveland. That's the thing too, is I would love to see Swift more in the passing game. And honestly too, I I'm a big Monungai fan, but yet again, I would give more carries to Swift right now. I would give more snaps to Swift right now. Swift is playing on a mission. Monungai, especially like in the passing downs, he's a great pass blocker. Like we're seeing, he's really kind of getting the way you want. But it's really in that passing game, he hasn't been looking great as a receiver. And especially if you're trying to look downfield, we saw that when he just kind of did a little dump off. Like those dump offs, we just don't see Caleb do that a lot. I always look at the betting lines and I see like, 2 catches for Swift, that should be easy. But it never really is with it. So, yeah, and Joe saying too, yeah, Panthers have Mike Jackson. We don't. Yeah, that's the thing is they got horses. The Panthers have the guys. Talking Man saying Bears 40 to 34. Bears, let's go. Let's see. Broski saying DeMarco Jackson is an upgrade from Edwards. I do agree with the way that he was playing out there. Let's see. Oracle saying, I have a week till his 40th birthday. Happy birthday, Oracle. We'll be shouting you out next week, too. Taking the family out for deep dish. There we go. And a win. That'd be awesome. Some mutton for lunch. There we go. But let's see. Nice. Let me see what else is out there. Lots and lots of different comments out there. Just reading through some of these. Yeah, so let's see. Dr. Jojo saying Lou Malnati's or Giordano's. Actually, I'll ask a poll. Let's see. Better deep dish. Lou's. I'm not even going to try Malnati's or like try to spell Malnati. Actually, I probably can. Nati's or Giordano's. It's been a while since I've had Giordano's. I had that. I was actually in a customer meeting at downtown Chicago, and we were like, you know what? Let's go get some deep dish, and we went to Giordano's, and yeah, it was delicious. So yeah, there's just a Luden Malnati's. It's not by my house, but it's what is it? I think it's Brown Deer or something. Up here in Wisconsin, and so yeah, I'm like I gotta. So I might have to do it again. So. My bad, Oracle. That totally went over my head. Yeah, the mutton Rams joke. I would put myself in timeout for not getting that. My bad, man. But yeah, so other things to kind of talk about with this game besides deep dish pizza, because now I'm hungry. Like I've already said before, Braxton Jones, even though that he was starting before, I still think that this is going to be Theo Benedict that's going to be out there. That's going to be my feeling. But then also, too, I also want to call out Colston Loveland, number 2, highest graded tight end according to PFF. Let's freaking go. So I saw that. I'm like, let's go. That is amazing. So also Luther Burden, 23rd highest graded wide receiver, and Swift, 9th highest graded running back, and our beloved Caleb Williams, number 14 highest graded quarterback. The other thing that I want to talk about as a key to the game is Drew Dahlman. Drew Dahlman quietly has had some bad games this past like 5 weeks, I want to say. Here, I'll even like pull up his grade echoes it too. It just feels like he just hasn't been in the right spots. He had a couple bad snaps. He just hasn't been playing like himself. So Dahlman, come on, smack it out of you. Get back out there. It's playoff time. We really need to see that, because when we're looking at this offensive line and saying, well, who's been struggling? Well, Jackson just typically struggles against NFC North players. And I didn't think that he had an awful game. But it's really, like, looking across it, Darnell Wright's been great. He's, second team All-Pro. Tooney's been amazing. Ozzy's been holding up. But yeah, Dahlman, to me, just didn't play great. So that was my big thing with watching the tape back, is Dahlman really does need to step up. And then same thing with the wide receivers, getting on page with Caleb Williams. So now let's talk a little bit about this Bears, not just the Bears offensive preview, but the matchup that I'm watching out for. If I'm looking at a specific matchup, oh man, part of me for the matchup to watch out for, I just want to say like Williams and one of his wide receivers. Like, that's the matchup that I'm actually watching out for. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do this. This is going to be a first. The matchup I am watching out for is Caleb Williams versus Rome Odunze. That is going to be the matchup I'm watching out for, because it seems like a battle between the two. And it shouldn't be. It should be him versus DJ Moore, him versus his wide receivers. Because like I said, this is a wide receiver game. And I know that the Rams are saying you cannot let Colston Loveland beat you. They're going to try and take him away, because I guarantee you McVay's looking at this and going, Williams is shaky with going to Rome Odunze. We saw this in the routes. Rome runs a route. It's mistimed. It's incomplete. When he's targeting Rome Odunze, it's below 50%. And DJ Moore, it's very, very hit or miss with what they're going to do. So to them, Caleb Williams to Rome Odunze, that is my matchup. First ever bear on bear matchup that I'm watching out for, because if they can make that thing happen, especially because Rome with the deep ball against this defense, that can wake us up. And the X factor, the first quarter, put up more than 3 points. You have to start out strong, because this team is not going to stop. This defense, you can't let this Rams defense play like the number one defense that they were in weeks 1 through 12. You have to do something. So next, what we're going to do is let's flip over to the special teams review. And I'll tell you this, and I mentioned this before. The Rams have lost most of their losses this week have come off of a special teams big play. Whether it's a kick return for a touchdown, a punt return for a touchdown, a blocked punt, a blocked kick. Do something on special teams that warrants you to get a touchdown. Something that I would try, fake punt. Actually, that's going to be my bold prediction. My bold prediction is going to be a fake punt for our Chicago Bears, because if you want to try something against the special teams unit, that's it. Try to do something. And I would love to see Torrey Taylor do something. Let the Aussies, maybe Aussies can't throw, and we go, what were we thinking with this? But the special teams has to step up, because a big special teams play is what happens when, and the Rams end up winning because something big ends up happening from there. I forgot what happened with the Panthers. Let me see the box score real quick. I swear that there was something inside of that game. There was, let's see. I can't find one. I thought that there was something that happened with their special teams that caused something to happen. But basically, all that we got to know, the special teams, this is how we can attack it. This is like, right? That's what I'm feeling. Because yes, the Rams did fire their special teams coach, but even then, it still wasn't as great. So they fired him. They got in someone else. So let's see. Do something crazy, because I would keep it in the chamber just in case if you need to try and step up, right? Rather than going for it on fourth down, just do a fake punt, right? Try to do something like that. But now let's flip over and talk about who has the edge. If we're looking at this Bears defense versus this Rams offense, I'll keep it short and simple. This Rams offense is unbelievable. Rams offense all day. They have the advantage, both run and pass. Then, if we talk about who has the edge on the Bears' offensive side, the run defense, when we talk about the run defense, I'm actually going to give it to the Rams. And maybe this wakes up the Bears' running attack. The Bears' running attack has not looked great, or it's not looked the same. And it's something that they haven't necessarily leaned on. They lean on more so Caleb Williams. The running game just doesn't seem to be a part of the game plan with everything that's been kind of going on. And then, like I mentioned before, 5-man fronts can really disrupt what happens against this Bears team. And you better believe that other people are saying, hey, this is how we can stop the Ben Johnson running attack, because that's what he loves to do on the ground. But then, if we talk about the passing attack, I'm going to give it to the Bears. That is going to have to be the biggest edge that we have, is this passing attack has to dominate like they have in fourth quarters. We need this earlier so that we can really just put up some points and stay competitive against the LA Rams and this high-powered offense. And then I'm going to add another thing. Who has the edge in the cold weather? You better believe it's the Iceman with this, with the cold, because we have to focus on that. This game is not played by numbers. This game is played on the field. So that is what I have to say from the edge. Now let's talk a little bit about game predictions, and let me know your game predictions down below in the chat. So first off, you can't not pick the Bears in the playoffs. We're not used to this whole playoff thing. I'm not going to be out here and be like, oh, the Rams. Right? You have to choose the Bears. So to me, it's not just the score prediction. It's what I believe has to happen in order for the Bears to win. What has to happen for the Bears to win. Right? And I'm looking at this and I can say, I could see this being a 27-24. I think is going to be my feeling with that. 27-24. Give it to the Bears. And what I think is going to happen is, or what I feel like the Bears need to do, they have to pass the ball. I think that they're going to be passing the football. It's going to be windy, but we've seen Caleb be able to throw the ball in windy conditions and do stuff like that. So it's going to be tough. It's going to make it more tough because of the weather conditions with how the Bears need to attack. I think that you're going to see Caleb get I think that maybe just around that 300-yard mark during this game, because I think that they're going to try and pass it. 27-24 Bears. Like I said, too, I think that they're going to, my bold prediction will be the fake punt. They haven't done a fake punt underneath Coach Hightower at all. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say that they do a fake punt. They do some fake special teams play and try to get a first down. Maybe it's a fake kick. I think they're gonna pull out a fake and try to do something along those lines and try and get something started to catch them off guard. So that's my feeling with it. And I think from the defensive side of the football, I think they're going to play a little bit. I think they're going to get a turnover. But yeah, I think just because of the cold weather, you're going to hopefully see that affect Matt Stafford a little bit and see him struggle a small amount when he's out there, enough for the Bears to win. And he'll probably have a missed time throw due to the cold, due to the wind. And that's when Deshaun Wright gets the interception on the deep ball to Devontae Adams. And then the prophecy will be there. And then we will make it to the NFC Championship game. But let's see what y'all are saying out there. Joe saying 28-24 Bears with the victory. J2K saying 28-27 Bears. So there we go. And Oracle saying Ben is 50% on fourth down. I doubt he leans on special teams to get a first down. That's actually a very, very good point, right? Like, you can see him on the sidelines like, knew I should have gone for it. Knew I should have put my people out there. And Oracle saying 35-35, going into overtime and game-winning field goal. Ooh, I love that. I don't think our hearts can take this, right? Deep dish, like we're talking about deep dish pizza. We're talking about the layer of stress our Bears put us under, man. And then Drax saying, yeah, have the Bears had 2 consecutive no turnover games? Yeah, I think this has got to be like the first time, right? But yeah, we had no turnovers last week. We had a turnover the week before, I think. Yeah, but the turnovers have to, yeah, and this is the problem. What a lot of people were talking about with the playoffs is you can get a lot of turnovers against bad teams, but yeah, when you go against good teams, that's when it then like kind of flips that script. But yeah, Matt Stafford, one interception last week. And then let's see, on the season, he had 8. So not a lot. But yeah, and then too, this offensive line that they do have, you can generate some pressure on it. It's not, I personally don't think that this is like the greatest, but I still think it's a good, it's obviously a good offensive line. Nonetheless, but we'll see what our players can do against that. But let's see the final votes, 50-50 for Lou Malnati's and Giordano's. We'll ask at a later time and see what we can do. But man, now I'm hungry. I got to go eat some food. I got to try and simulate what a deep dish pizza is. But thank you all for hanging out with me tonight. Make sure to like and subscribe out there on YouTube. We will be live after the game, hopefully celebrating a Chicago Bears victory. Thank you all for coming out. And with that, see you on Sunday. Bear Down and Unbearable Sports Podcast. We are out.
Yeah, she's got some nice long hair, and you know that she's a bad chick.